Hello, Jojo here. Today I'm going to hold a monologue about the new Starbase update. So the first thing we're going to talk about is that cruise missiles are finally now fixed. So they won't just go into the void, but instead of that they will just hit your target. Which is a good thing, because your ship doesn't need to get into a stroke when you have to aim your cruise missiles. Talking about missiles, we have a new prototype, the nuke pod. But appearance wise more like the Drake pod. Alright, I'm way too funny. So it's an interesting ship for people who have too much EXP, but for all other people it is just a waste of money, because there isn't really a difference to the nuclear missile launcher. So the next ship on the list is the Heavy Disruption Frigate. So this ship is a pretty small escort, which doesn't really have much HP, and the disruptor turrets, they don't really do that much damage. And when they do much damage, they're already so decelerated by gravity that you will just have really hard times aiming them. And please do humanity a favor and don't try to do a reverse chaff strategy with it, because you can't aim it. And the next ship I'll talk about is the new Star Car, which is a daily quest ship. So some of you have already noticed that there is something special about this. It has manual guided anti-air missiles, but trust me, these ones are really hard to aim. If you fight something that is pretty fast, there is a really high chance that you will not hit the target. A good thing about it is that the missiles can't be chaffed or flared, but that doesn't matter because you're not going to hit anything anyways. And another thing we can mention about the new Star Car is that it has really bad shield strength, like only 90 shield. That means you have no chance against any fighters. Alright, so the next ship I'm going to talk about is the Captured Auto Frigate, which has all-ram launchers, which is really nice. So it's not that bad against anti-air. It has CIWS, which can be really good if it is lagging a bit, but when the lag is too huge, you won't hit anything with it. 375 speed. The shield strength isn't that bad for such a small ship. It's not a bad anti-air ship, but it is missing point defense clearly. The next ship the developers gifted us is the Long Range Missile Cruiser. So this thing features new two weapon types, which one of them is heavy anti-ship missiles. But here comes the fun fact: the heavy anti-ship missiles do as much damage as the normal anti-ship missiles. I don't know why the developers did that, but maybe it could also be a mistake. The other new weapon type is manually guided energy torpedoes. So these things are like missiles, but they're really slow and they will follow your mouse cursor. Even if you exit the ship, they will just follow where the mouse cursor points. And another thing about them is that they can't do 180-degree turns, so you probably have to at least aim them 90 degrees. Another weapon I find interesting on the long-range missile cruiser is the dual purpose. The dual purpose of that thing actually has no reload, which can on one hand cause a lot of damage, but on the other hand it gets really hard to aim. But by far the most interesting weapons on the long-range missile cruiser for me are the ball lasers. Believe it or not, but the ball lasers of that thing do more damage than the ball lasers of the laser cruiser, which is kind of revolutionary to the meta. Okay, so the last free ship I'm going to talk about in this video is the Baller class Advanced Frigate. So first of all, it also has a dual purpose which has no reload. So yeah, like on the long range missile cruiser, can do some damage, but it gets hard to aim. Another thing is manually guided energy torpedoes, which don't really do that much damage. Well, I would use manually guided energy torpedoes more for the smaller stuff, but the highlight on that ship is the super ball laser. Okay, some of you are going to hate me for that, but the ball lasers on the long range missile cruiser still do a bit more damage and do by far more hull damage. This ship is actually quite fast but doesn't really have that much HP. But what it does have is a low quick boost reload, which can be really useful for dodging shells, missiles and other stuff. I'll now also mention the new game pass. Okay, so the new AC-130s have really much shield HP, which is a bit broken, especially if you put shield augments onto it and carrier buff it. And since Sentient tripled the damage of some missiles, we now have cruise missiles which can one-shot an Empress battleship And the worst part about it is you can't really chaff these missiles because they're manually guided, and shooting them down also isn't possible. So yeah, I expect the developers to fix that soon. Also, a thing I find really unbalanced is the Iowa class battleship. It has really much armor and around the HP of a super dreadnought. Yeah, I wouldn't like put so much HP and armor on something so small. But yeah, it's probably going to be nerfed anyways. Okay, so I guess this is the end of this video here. And I hope you liked it. And if you didn't, then I just don't really care. But yeah, see ya in the next one.